On June 10th of 2022, yesterday, um, I was reading through the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 3. This is where it led. Now then, I have idiot notes written up, so I may very well stumble over them. If I look a little old, well, it's because I am. If I look a little tired, it's because I am. But nonetheless, I will try to read through these notes, or this writing actually, as well as I'm able. It was scribbled out, my own pen, my own hand, as the Lord led me, as the Lord led me. Pardon me. So, if you will get your authorized version of the scriptures, also known as the King James Version, and turn to the book of Ecclesiastes with me, I will be in chapter 10. I will be reading verses 2 and 3, with the focus being on verse 3. So, let's go. Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verses 2 and 3. A wise man's heart is at his right hand, but a fool's heart at his left. And this is coming up differently on the screen, I think. I'm not sure. Yea, also when he that is a fool, I'm going to start that again. Yea, also, when he that is a fool walketh by the way, his wisdom faileth him. And he saith to every one that he is a fool. And of course, he doesn't literally walk around saying, I'm a fool, I'm a fool. We will examine this verse. I'm going to lay these off to the side on the table for the moment. Now then, I have the verse written down, but I've read the verse. Point 1. Now then, what is a fool? For that we will reference Psalm chapter 14, verse 1. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt, they have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. And in this, in context, the none that doeth good is the fool that hath said in his heart that there is no God. That's the context of the there is none that doeth good in this verse of Scripture. A. Therefore, if the fool hath said in his heart, there is no God, from whence would come his wisdom, quote unquote, wisdom? In 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 20, it reads, where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Hath not God made foolish the wisdom of this world? Hence, in this there is the wisdom of the world. And where would this wisdom, quote unquote, come from? Who is the God of this world? The prince of the power of the air. In 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 12, we have mention of fleshly wisdom. Verse 12, for our rejoicing is this, the testimony of our conscience, that in simplicity and godly sincerity not with fleshly wisdom, but by the grace of God, we have had our conversation in the world, and more abundantly to you ward. Read the rest for context. However, this verse alone points out that there is fleshly wisdom. Let's go to Colossians chapter 2, verse 23, and read. So in Colossians chapter 2, verse 23, it reads, which things have indeed a shew of wisdom in will worship, and humility, and the neglecting of the body, not in any honor to the satisfying of the flesh. Well, here we have a shew of wisdom, quote unquote. We have will worship, quote unquote. All it takes is a little willpower. All it takes is a little willpower. You just got to have that willpower. And we have a shew of humility, and the neglecting of the body, not in any honor to the satisfying of the flesh. Hence, fleshly wisdom. James chapter 3, verses 14 through 16 reads, but if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. Hence, if you have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, is that lying against the truth? 15. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, hence driven by the senses, devilish. What wisdom? But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. Hence 15, this wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. For where envying, not jealousy, as the perversions read, and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work. Now then, wisdom that is sensual and not from above, it is more than obvious in the world from the feels like temperatures in the weather. It is what it is, not what it feels like. To placing modesty on the altar of one's own comfort. 2, if it feels good, do it, which has thrown a motherload of morals and decency in the bin, aka file 13, aka the trash. And the funny thing is that people actually believe there are no consequences for doing such. They don't think of such, and if they do, they don't consider such, or somehow think it won't happen to them. I know I've spoken to many people throughout my lifetime, and I've had this idea at times myself, well, yeah, it's happened to everybody else, but it's not going to happen to me. Somehow I'm different. But it doesn't. If you're going down a road, and there's a bridge, and the bridge is out, and others before you have gone down that road to that same place where the bridge was out, and they didn't know it or didn't realize it, and they wound up falling off trying to go over a bridge that wasn't there. Well, that bridge is still out. So guess what? You're going to fall off too. It won't be any different for you than it will be for anyone else, or was for anyone else. Now then, speaking for myself and of myself, I was short-sighted in this life, and oddly enough, my vision problem physically is with distance. I don't see distance really well. I forget if that's nearsighted or farsighted. I do think that they are the opposite of what I think they are or what they sound like to me. And this is not an excuse. I'm not making this as an excuse, but it's something that I've really just learned, so I'm going to share it. That it is said of people with Asperger's that we can get so focused on the details, we do not see the big picture. And for this I say, Lord, give me eyes to see. Just give me eyes to see, because I have problem that way. And this many times has burdened me. It's gotten me into trouble and left me with consequences. There are consequences. Imagine that. God does not take those consequences away. He will save one of their sin, and they will be going to heaven or to be with him when they die, or should they be caught up. But you live with consequences. You live with them. So, Ecclesiastes 10:3. Yea, also, when he that is a fool walketh by the way, his wisdom faileth him, and he saith to every one that he is a fool. And once again, number one, of course, the fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. In his heart. In his heart. Not necessarily, and usually not with his lips. In his heart. Although it's more common now to say it with your lips than it has been in the past. There are many fools out there who would never say with their mouth, with their lips, that there is no God. But take a good look. It's right here in their heart. I was one of them. That's how I know. When the neighborhood looks too familiar, too familiar. 2. When he walketh by the way, his wisdom faileth him. His wisdom, not the Lord's. His wisdom would be that of the world. And who gives the wisdom of the world? The God of this world, the prince of the power of the air. And I feel safe in saying that the his, quote unquote, is a his making reference to mankind. Male and female made he them. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But give me good proof. In his wisdom failing him is how he says to everyone that he is a fool. One may see whether his wisdom, quote unquote, is of God or of himself, hence showing whom and what he really is. One way of his wisdom failing him, quote unquote, is that it will expose a facade, which is how he saith to everyone that he is a fool, who hath said in his heart, there is no God. His wisdom will shew that he hath indeed said such. So by his wisdom, knowledge, judgment, his wisdom, that can and will tell whether or not he hath said in his heart that there is no God. And that'll be the end for this video, as far as that goes. If you be of the brethren and you watch this, blessings to you. If you be lost and you happen to watch this, may the Lord break you. May he break you before it's too late. While a lot of you are saying in your heart that there is no God. "Oh, I believe in God. I believe in God." With a James chapter 2 verse 19 belief. I will look that up just so I can quote it and get it right. One moment. James chapter 2 verse 19, which reads, "Thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble. For which I have written as a reference Mark chapter 3 verses 11 and 12. Pardon me. So we will go ahead and go there. Let's go. Mark chapter 3 verses 11 and 12. Let's do 10, 11, and 12. Why? Because I can. Mark chapter 3 verses 10 through 12. Speaking of Jesus, of course. For he had healed many, insomuch that they pressed upon him for to touch him, as many as had plagues. And unclean spirits, when they saw him, fell down before him and cried, Thou art the Son of God. And he straitly charged them that they should not make him known. Now take that into consideration and read once again James chapter 2, verse 19, which I'm going to do. Thou believest that there is one God? Thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble. Or I believe in God. I believe in God. I know the Lord. Yeah. Check yourself. At any rate, once again, if you be of my brethren and you watch, hello. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord bless you in whatever way he sees fit. It will be to his glory and to your benefit. For Romans chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. If you're lost and you watch through this, or if you're a false convert, may the Lord give you eyes to see and smack you upside the head with that proverbial brick to show you just how fake you really are. And just lost, may he break you. May he break you before it's too late. May he bust up that stony heart of yours and grind that self-righteousness into powder so that you will be in a position, in a state where you will go to him on your face, on your knees, knowing what a worthless, rotten piece of garbage that you are. With a contrite heart, a right spirit before him, in humility, that he may accept you before it's too late. We are heading for the catching away, the catching up. Wrongfully and non-scripturally, unscripturally as a matter of fact, referred to as the rapture. You will not find rapture in the scriptures. I don't know that you will find rapture in the Bibles. I don't know that you will. I don't believe I've seen it in any of the perversions that I've read, and my knowledge is not extensive. But we are coming upon the catching up, the redemption of the purchased possession. Who knows how long? Oh, Lord Jesus, how long, how long? He knows. We don't. It will inevitably come. God is not a man that he should lie. Before that time comes, before the time of Jacob's trouble, when it comes down to a matter of chances are you're going to die for it, and you won't stand for it now. How do you think you're going to die when it requires your life? When it requires your life. It's an easy thing to say. So if you are lost, may the Lord do whatever it takes to get you to the state where He can accept and will accept you. If you're a false convert, may He give you eyes to see, ears to hear, and an understanding heart, a comprehensive heart. For understanding is to depart from evil. And that's it for this morning. That's it for this morning. So, for now, bye-bye.